The University Tower chimes ring in another session of Ask the Professor, the show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Maggio, and let me introduce to you our panel for today. To my left, she likes the Boston Red Sox. It's Professor Heather Hill.
And apparently I get to go to a game.
Yes.
Thanks to Professor Maggio.
I got tickets for Easter at dinner time. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Easter?
Oh, and you assume that because I'm a heathen.
No, I did not. I assume because you're a heathen Red Sox fan that you would be interested in seeing the Bo Sox
We'll
once
have
this
Easter
year.
dinner at Comerica
Park. It sounds like a great idea, doesn't it?
Thank
An
you.
Easter dinner brat.
And I
ballpark.
I might even have a date.
Really?
Yeah.
To the game.
To the game.
Is it JD Martinez?
Him again.
Oh, jeez. Ouch. No. I think I know somebody else who might want to go with me, who might be a Red Sox fan.
Well,
So-
this is the only time the Sox are coming to Comerica
I
this year.
know, I
When it's
know.
the
So
first
when you
series,
offered
it's
those
kinda
tickets,
weird.
I was
So,
like, whoa, baby, I know it's Easter, but, let's hope that they can give us a Easter blessing.
that would be nice. It'd be nice to win a few games.
And whoop the you-know-whats of the you-know-whos.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, come on. I'm always a Tigers fan, except when it's the Red
I
Sox.
know.
Why would you
guys
say that
know
in this
that.
environment? Why would you say that?
Can you let us win opening day? Can we have opening day?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
Detroit's
Although
unofficial
the
holiday.
Red Sox did not do well on opening day.
That's true.
So
We'll zip down right after Mass. He thinks that's hilarious.
No, I think it's funny because listening to the voice of Professor Stephen Manning, when you said heathen, I thought Red Sox. I thought nothing having to do with religion.
No, I'm technically I'm not a heathen. Technically, I am Catholic, kind of. So,
Technically.
yeah, but
So, yes, I believe that Professor Stephen Manning just appreciates a good baseball game, frankly.
Yes, and
So
we may or may not have one on Sunday.
You're excited to watch the pitch clock count down every
I
few
am, and you know
seconds.
the Red Sox, that was part of the Red Sox disaster yesterday.
right.
Someone, it wasn't the guy they get rid of. Who's the guy? He was called out because of a pitch clock violation.
Right.
And apparently they were throwing the ball all over the place, and they vowed that, I think that, what was it I told you? We have to walk, we have to have fewer walks. We have to give up fewer walks, and then they proceeded to either tie or break the record for the number of walks given up on an opening day game.
Ay, caramba.
They did come back in the end, but they still lost 10-9, and they started getting booed at Fenway in the fourth inning.
In the
Opening
fourth
day.
inning of the first game.
It's going to be a long season.
It is going to be a long season.
yeah, that's okay. That's part of the fun, right?
I always debate whether I take the Boston or the Detroit hat when we go to Comerica, and it may well be.
Take both.
Take both, yes. And as the
Be prepared.
as the score changes, just keep switching hats.
No.
Go Boston, go
There are
Detroit.
usually a lot of Boston fans.
You'll show up
there.
with a Padres
Absolutely.
hat just in
Yeah.
case, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now that the plates are the size of pizza boxes.
That's right.
Or Dunkin' Donut boxes.
That's right.
Or Dunkin' Donut box. All right, let's let somebody else
Speaking
speak.
of seasons starting, I'm thinking of seasons ending, unfortunately. Dan, you got to be wrapping up curling now? Yeah.
We are. I'm still alive in Wednesday and Thursday night playoffs. We won last night. Beat a rather good team.
Nice.
Dan.
No, it wasn't just me.
You called the demise prematurely.
I know.
So we'll see what happens. But
great.
next week is the last official week, and then we have our closing party
Okay.
over Easter weekend because we're all heathens at the club.
Oh, my God.
And you know what I learned about baseball working with people from New Hampshire?
Uh-oh.
They don't much care for Yankee fans.
Oh, not a
Yeah.
And that's really evident all the time.
Oh, man, I don't even know what to say about that.
We were on a call yesterday with our partners, and the partner from Brazil, one of them was there, and our director just made I didn't know the background of this, like he was wearing a robot hat, but she said, well, at least you're not wearing a Yankees hat. And like a minute later, he was wearing a Yankees hat.
Oh, my
And I'm like,
gosh.
did you stage this?
Oh, my God.
So, but there's a long story behind it, but it was funny because it didn't go over well. I mean, it's really like, it's a bad thing. You don't want to talk about the Yankees.
Do
in New
not
England.
want to fool around with that.
So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yes.
Oh, you lived in Connecticut.
I did.
And what are your thoughts on Boston versus the Yankees?
The Mets is my answer.
They don't seem to have a hatred of the Mets.
No. So I just stepped out of that whole conversation and I said, am I going to root for Boston? I will root for Boston. Will I root for the Yankees? No, never. And if I have to pick a more local team, I'm going to go for the Mets.
Okay.
You know?
There you go.
Kind of go for the underdog.
I think that was the question I asked during her interview process. Yankees or Mets?
I remember
and
that.
she gave the right answer.
Mets.
Such diplomacy.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Otherwise, no, I'm totally kidding.
Professor Jim Tubbs is here with us.
Yes.
And we've used the word heathen 3 times, so can you use it 4 times in a sentence?
Speaking of heathens, I have a message to convey. Miss Diane Manica
good
said
Lord,
to
that
tell you
heathen.
all hello. I talked to her on the phone yesterday.
That's
She's
so
still
nice.
enjoying, I think she said 79-degree weather in Mesa.
May the Gila monsters chase her down.
Well, she was having while we were on the phone, the pest control people came. And I said, what kind of pests are they keeping out? Scorpions, bugs of various kinds. And I said, no rattlesnakes. I've never had a rattlesnake in my backyard or my garage or my car or my
Tarantulas.
Lizards.
I'm sending some out there then.
They do have little lizards.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
Lizards. Okay. Wow, that's quite an update there, Jim.
You probably know she has taken up piano.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, she's taking piano lessons.
Oh, I thought you were stealing pianos now. Okay. All right.
She's taking up piano.
I'm weightlifting. I'm picking up pianos now,
Oh my God.
Diane used to be in the education department.
Diane Manica.
among other things.
Yep.
She's legendary.
Retired to Mesa, Arizona.
Nice.
That's why it's 79.
Okay.
Continuing around the table, we're able to be joined by guest panelists, Dean Jocelyn Boryczka. Thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks for having me.
Second time on the show.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thrilled
Brave
to
soul.
be here.
Brave. So brave.
So we know a little bit about your Mets, allegiance. Okay, we can start.
So now what? We go NFL, whether it's Giants or Jets?
I mean, baseball is what we got right now. So
I
we're
have
gonna-
to say I'm a Tigers fan through and through.
Oh, good.
I'm
good.
from Detroit, born and bred,
right.
and that is the explanation for could never be a Yankees fan.
However, how about basketball? Are you pulling for Connecticut?
good
in the
Lord.
Final
Oh
Four?
no,
Okay,
no,
good.
no. Always the underdog.
These allegiances are through the roof.
Well, I'm pulling for Miami because it's the only ACC team left, but also its coach is a real mensch. He's a good guy. Jim Larinaga. He was at Virginia when I was in grad school there.
That's right.
I'll jump on that bandwagon. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Professor Dave Chow is here. Who you got in the national championship?
I don't.
That's what I set you up for.
I have
okay.
absolutely no vested interest in any of those.
Not even FAU. I mean, come on.
Nope.
I tried.
Nope. Right now, I'm just getting ready for the Lion season, believe it or not. Oh, what am I thinking?
Are you drunk?
What are you thinking?
No,
They had a winning season last season.
I'm very
I'm
optimistic.
with you.
Yes.
I'm with you
It's
on
a
this.
building year every
Yes.
year.
It is.
They are
well,
actually favored to win the
Has
division
been for the last 25.
that's right.
I was going to
More
pick
like
your
50.
brain for who you had for the Cup playoffs this year. Who are you going to ride all the way to the end? You know?
I dare say Boston.
Oh, jeez. Are you a Bruins fan too?
Kind of.
They will be.
Oh, jeez.
They will be.
Remind me sometime to tell you the story of the Boston Bruins lunchbox. But not right now.
Lunchbox?
Okay.
Well, hey, my Medicine Hat Tigers made it to the playoffs, so I'm following them. So
Okay.
that helps.
Very nice.
We saw a game. We had a game show question within the last week. The answer to which was
Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr.
Bobby
Yep.
Orr, of course.
Who shot scored a goal from behind his own net. It was Bobby Orr.
Takes talent.
Must have been late in the game, and when they pulled the goalie, I mean, I can't imagine that
Right.
not happening that way. But it was.
It
Bobby
can
Orr,
happen.
of course.
I've seen worse.
We also have Professor Mara Livezey here from
A
Department of
great
Chemistry and
sports fan
Biochemistry.
in their own right.
Yes, she is. She has allegiances. You follow the Hornets, don't you?
I'm maybe the most sports apathetic person you'll ever meet. I really don't care about sports ball.
But you like going to a good game every once in a while,
I
right?
enjoy a good game as long as there are others around me who I can kind of, get their energy from, and then I'll care as much as they do.
Okay.
Mars into
Yeah.
full contact Monopoly. That's all.
Yes.
Absolutely. You try to take my money, you will regret it.
Major League Sorry. Uno. That's much better. All right, folks. Well, this is a program where you can send us questions regarding anything. If you stump the panel, you win a prize. If you don't stump the panel, you win a prize. You can send us the questions in a number of ways, emailing us at atp@udmercy.edu. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. Okie dokie. Dear professors, as your semester winds down, is that the way it works? Here is my meager contribution to your fine show. Attached are 15 questions of an odd assortment of topics to challenge the professor's varied scope of knowledge. I'm hopeful they'll be fine fodder for discussion, ridicule, and inquiry.
We have fodder, too.
Ridicule.
Ridicule.
That sounds like a course I would want to teach. Discussion, ridicule, and inquiry.
Very poetic.
Thank you again for letting me be part of the show. This is, of course, our good, longtime question sender, Beverly Hollis of Redmond, Washington. Thank you for sending these in.
Thanks, Beverly.
Okay, here we go. Who once said, "I believe in censorship. I made a fortune out of it." Great quote.
George Carlin?
No, but you're in the rule of comedy. I would go 2 generations or so backwards if I were you.
W.C. Fields.
Getting close.
Lenny Bruce?
Jack
no,
Benny?
no.
It was actually a female performer.
Oh.
Fanny Bryce?
No.
No. Who are you thinking?
Joan
Dan?
Rivers.
I would do an accent, but I'm so sure I would screw it up. Yeah, I don't.
Phyllis Diller?
No.
Mae West?
No, it was Mae West.
Oh, Mae West. So she did make a fortune out of censorship. Yes, she did.
Nicely done.
I claim closeness.
Yeah, I did. I gave you closeness.
Thank
Partial
you.
credit is what
Come
it's-
up and
the
see me
show is all about.
sometime.
Come up and see.
What's that
me
other thing?
sometime.
What? I've been in more laps than napkins or something like that? Oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness.
Oof. Oh, this one's going to make at least me, maybe others, throw up. What do actors Haley Joel Osment, Emma Stone, and performer Rihanna all have in common?
Birthday.
Close.
Why
Birth
would that
year.
Birth year. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were all born in 1988.
Why is that making you throw up?
Because I feel old.
They're quite young compared to some in
You
this
think
room.
you feel old.
Yeah, Matt, come on.
Just because Jim Tubbs got the autographed Bible for his graduation, I mean, come on.
In what city was The Great Gatsby supposedly set in?
New York?
East Islip?
That's what I
No,
would
no,
have
it
guessed.
was
York?
it Long Island.
It was on
Staten
Long
Island.
Island.
West. It was
In
The
East-
Hamptons.
Is it Islip or Egg? or-
Westchester?
East Egg?
Okay, they have it as sort of compartmentalized the way that Jim saw it. Long Island and environs. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Environs.
one of the cities was called West Egg. And
West Egg, that's right.
Yeah.
Long Island.
You got to say it right, though, Matt. It's got to be Long Island.
Yeah,
Long
Yeah,
Island.
Long Island.
Yes.
Long.
Sounding too much like a New Yorker now.
I know.
Yankees or
It's still
Mets?
there.
Yeah, speaking of the Mets, I saw that Justin Verlander starting the season on the IL.
Yes.
Tragedy.
Yes.
Tragedy.
Used to be the DL. They're changing everything.
Now it's the IL. Yes.
IL.
Which 2 U.S. cities are cited for being the birthplace of disco? This is actually, if you remember the old joke, the one blamed the other, and then the other blamed the one. So it's like no one wanted to
Philadelphia?
acknowledge. Philly is one of them. That's
New York-
right.
New York City?
And New York is the other. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
They did not want to be the place where disco was.
That's great music.
Yeah.
It really
It
is.
seems like
on
it should have been
Toledo.
Los Angeles, right?
Feels
Oh,
like
yeah,
it.
it does. Seems like it should have been.
Right? Yeah.
Which member of the Gilligan's Island cast was majored in chemistry in undergrad? Oh my God.
Dawn Wells.
Yeah, it was. It was Dawn Wells.
Don Wells.
She was a chem major at Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, and transferred to the University of Washington, where she graduated as theater, arts, and design.
Wow.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, that's right. Dawn Wells, who played
Marianne.
Marianne. Yeah, that's right. Which Canadian province produces 70% of the world's supply of maple syrup?
Which what?
Quebec.
Which Canadian
Yeah.
province?
Quebec or Ontario for sure.
It's got to be
Yeah.
Ontario. I'm going Ontario.
It's Quebec.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Quebec. Yeah, but I just 70% is a lot of percent.
That's a
For
lot
the
of maple
whole world.
syrup.
That's a
They have a lot
lot.
of maple trees up
Yeah,
there.
they got lots of them.
That's in the whole world or Canada?
That's the whole world.
Oh,
They 70% of the whole.
70%.
And they're in competition with all of New England.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. However, that if you think about it, New England's kind of a postage stamp size compared
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like
Well,
all
true,
of
compared to
Quebec.
Quebec,
So,
yeah.
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 I just recently read an article because they do it. They actually go with the spiles at this time of year up at Cranbrook, where my wife works, and actually try to collect a little bit. But when the little sapsicles freeze, which happens after major storms, there's a whole sapsicle society, and then different species of trees have like background notes. It's like a fine wine, and you snap them off the tree and you eat them. That's wild to me. I think
Man,
that's
the
fascinating.
gentleman across the street from me actually had tap in his backyard.
Really?
We got a small bottle of maple syrup
Okay.
from our neighborhood.
Takes
We
a
have we
lot
have
of
we have
sap.
two neighbors who do the same
Yeah.
thing.
Talk about local food.
Takes a lot of sap to
Talking
make
about fresh.
a little
A
syrup.
syrup sommelier. I see. I like it.
There you go.
Takes a lot of sap
know
to
that.
make a little syrup. Oh, I'm sorry. That is awesome. People born in Puerto Rico are called Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
People in Japan are called Japanese. What are the people of Madagascar referred to as?
Madagascar.
That's not what it says.
Those people?
Madagascarians.
Madagascarians?
Madagascar.
Madagascars?
Madagascarans.
I was waiting for someone to say Madagascanders.
I mean,
The
Leave it
worst.
to Dave.
The worst option.
it's like Michiganians, Michiganders.
I thought about that.
Maggers.
It is not. It is not. I don't even know how to give a
Madagas-
clue. It starts with an M. Like that's
is
pretty
an
good.
M?
Mara's people. Oh,
It's only one letter off. Malagasy. are what they are
Malagasy.
called. The Malagasy people of Madagascar.
Malagasy.
Okay.
I'm putting a big X over that one. That's,
That's a fail for us.
yes.
Can we fact check that, please?
Yes. We'll get, the voice of God will fact check
where's
it while we're
get the crack team?
Yep. Professors, where would one find Urquhart Castle with a U and a Q? Urquhart
In Scotland.
Castle. But where?
Glasgow.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
No, it's up in the
Aberdeenshire?
north. It's
Yeah.
in the Highlands, I believe.
Oh,
In the Highlands.
in the Highlands.
Near Fort William.
No, that's not what it says.
Go, Jim. You're on a roll.
Yeah, come on.
It
Oh, is
overlooks.
it on the Isle of Skye?
No, that's not what it says. It overlooks a very famous body of water.
Loch Ness.
It's Loch Ness.
Okay,
So
it
it's
is
by
on the Highlands.
Inverness.
Hey,
Inverness.
we're giving it to you, Jim.
Nessie's
Not Dan.
Cottage.
I think
Sorry,
you do.
Dan.
Well, it's on the other side of the Highlands. from
There
Fort
we
William, over the mountains.
Dan.
There we go. You're killing it, Dan.
Professor Sean, what TV show would you find the character Esther Winfield Anderson?
Oh, Sanford and Sons.
Sanford and Son.
Oh,
it's classic
Esther.
TV.
Yes.
Hold on, Esther. I'm
She
coming.
was one of my
That's
favorite
right.
characters.
Oh, she was great.
Did you ever hear about her background prior to that? She was a fire performer.
Really?
Yeah, she was a fire performer back in vaudeville. There's a picture of her like rolling hot steaks across her body,
Whoa.
Cool.
What the heck?
Wow.
Wow.
and her and
Sounds made up.
I'll find the picture.
Good.
Fact check that.
She could sure give it to Fred Sanford.
Yeah, let's fact check that.
Yeah,
Between
she
her and Red
could.
Fox, those
We're very
two,
critical today.
and that purse.
Oh, it was the purse.
purse.
And then she'd hit him with the purse. Right. Yeah. Wow.
So
Talk about heathens. Oh,
yesterday at my youngest son's grade school, so kindergarten through 5, it was the last day of reading month, right? March is reading month. So everybody had to come dressed as a literary character, and they had a nice little parade around the school. It was actually quite cute. And the groups of teachers in each grade tried to pick something that was themed together. So like the 5th grade teachers for my son were all characters from Peter Pan. You get the idea. I just was shocked to see, they're really pushing the definitions here. There was some comic book characters, and I'm like, okay, but this is along the same lines. Think of these actors: Will Ferrell, Robert De Niro, Jack Elam, Phil Hartman, David Prowse, Bela Lugosi, Glenn Strange, and Peter Boyle have all played, not at the same time, but this iconic literary character.
Dracula.
Frankenstein.
Hamlet?
The Frankenstein monster.
Frankenstein, the
Peter Boyle.
monster.
Peter Boyle. Yeah, Frankenstein.
And I didn't see
yeah,
any
Boyle.
classic literature
I
in
saw
the
Peter.
background, you know?
Yeah.
What did
He said Will Ferrell.
He said Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah.
He's the
I think
first
He
one.
played Frankenstein?
Where did he play Frankenstein?
I
In
think
a-
it was in
in
one
a
of them
skit?
parody
Probably a
films.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, something like that.
Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who was that one bit that they had Tonto, Frankenstein, and Tarzan. Remember?
Oh yeah,
SNL.
because they all
No, but that was it
Couldn't
Kevin
really
Neal? No,
talk.
that was Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman. Yep, Hartman plays Phil Hartman here.
You know, they do the Christmas carols with those three.
Yeah.
Very very good.
Awkward moving jaw.
Back when SNL was fun.
One more time, Heather. Do it.
Oh my god.
That's going to be my new ringtone for Heather.
I have to shed a tear for Phil Hartman there. That's very, very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. What retail store started out as a specialty store in 1966 called Sound of Music? That's like...
Well, Harmony House?
No, it wasn't Harmony House. A little more national than Harmony House. Yeah.
Was it a music store?
Tower Records?
It was known for selling a lot of music. They don't do it that much anymore. They barely exist. What? Their store colors are yellow and blue.
Best Buy.
Best Buy started as a music store called Sound
Oh,
of
you're
Music.
kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Music
right.
store. Yeah, they don't sell much of that anymore.
When I had a couple folks, they came over from the Netherlands when I was in grad school, sort of as like a 6-month grad student exchange. The only store they wanted to go to was Best Buy, and the only thing they wanted to do was buy music. I mean, at that time, it was a great place for CDs, but not so much anymore.
Oh, yeah. I used to buy a lot of CDs there, but not lately.
I miss Sam's Jams. That was my place.
Professors, what are jammy Dodgers? Jammy Dodgers.
Why is this
Something
familiar
with
to me?
pajamas.
Yeah.
Naked children who do not want to put on their pajamas.
Oh,
I like
Dodging
that.
wearing the PJs.
It is. It has nothing to do with wearing clothing.
Oh my gosh.
that's some nudist colony thing now? What's going on?
Jammy Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Something about preserves.
Is it food?
It does have something to do with preserves.
Preserves.
Partial
Dodgers.
credit.
Dodgers. Dodgers. Something in
English
L.A.
muffins.
They're definitely English, so I'm looking in the direction of the English professor.
Crumpets?
They're not crumpets.
Scones.
Scones.
They're not scones. No.
Biscuits. Wait,
They
that's-
are
that's-
biscuits.
Oh,
but something very special about the biscuits.
Prasad's biscuits.
Jam biscuits.
I mean,
Biscuits and jam.
we pretty
Yeah.
much figured it out. It's when you take two biscuits, two cookies,
Sandwich?
and put jam in the middle, and then that's a jammy dog.
That's
That
a
sounds
jammy
teeth
Dodger.
rotting.
That's why I'm
Okay.
vaguely familiar from Bake Off then.
Oh, from Bake Off.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, there is a. I was thinking the same thing. There was
Yeah.
a cookie. It wasn't a double biscuit though. It was a layer of jam with maybe did it have marshmallow and chocolate on top.
Oh, like a s'mores?
Maybe. They did
Yeah.
something
I like
similar
jam
to
and
this.
trifle. That's good.
Ooh.
I'll look that up at the break. I don't want to be filmed looking at Google while I. We'll never hear the end of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Peanut
Banana
butter in
and-
between two Ritz crackers.
Yeah, that sounds.
What do these companies make? Stewart & Sons, Parsons, Pearl River, Borgata, Yamaha, Steinway.
Piano.
Piano.
Pianos. Keyboards.
Yes. Gave a little bit too much away there at the end, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which British Prime Minister had a longer term? Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair, or David Cameron?
Thatcher.
Thatcher.
Do you think you can say you're correct by how much versus the others?
Well, she was in for 11.
It says 11 years.
Oh,
11 years.
It says
It
11
doesn't.
years, yeah.
She was elected the same time
But Major
Reagan
was-
was.
Yeah.
80 to 91.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Blair was 10. David Cameron was 6. I really don't know my British Prime Ministers that well, so yeah, it's just the way it is. How many places in the United States have a city named Clawson?
Named
Well,
what?
at least Michigan.
There's one in Michigan,
there's
right?
one.
Yeah.
Places in the
Oh,
United
boy,
States
we-
have
we-
a
we
city
make- we
named
make
Clawson.
fun
of
Because
man.
I always
Two?
bring up Clawson.
2.
I mean, you're close. It's
Like
3.
5.
Or-
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Where are
only
the
3?
others?
Who are the
Wow.
one in Idaho?
Okay.
Clawson, Idaho.
Is
There's
there
one
one
in
in
Utah.
That's
Utah.
depressing.
Of course, there's one close by to us. There is also, Beverly tells us, Long Clawson, a village in England.
Oh, Clawson.
That's it. They
You
got to
can
start
have your
carrying
jammy
our show.
Dodgers there.
Yeah. Yes.
There we go.
Jacqueline, my go-to far away place from where we're sitting is always Clawson, so I think that was inserted as.
Well, remember, that's where Jim was going to retire. So.
No.
No, he's going to fly there, remember? You're going to fly to Clawson.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's time for us to move into the world of the Burroughs family imponderables.
Oh,
So
here we go.
imponder.
Oh, boy. Brace yourselves.
Consider here. So
Steady.
we're just gonna go. We're gonna go straight for who's your favorite character from Peanuts? I think that's a reasonable question to ask. Why is that?
Schroeder, because of the piano.
The piano.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay,
Great.
good call.
Great response.
Snoopy. Dan?
Yeah,
Come on.
Snoopy.
What?
He's a bit of a smart ass. So.
Yeah.
See, I thought for sure you were going to go Charlie Brown.
I would have said him, yes. But I went with Snoopy.
But when you
I'm
look in
with
the
you.
mirror, you see Charlie Brown.
Thanks, Jim.
Poor
Jeez.
Dan. Poor Dan.
Just when I was feeling good about myself.
There goes Dan's
Brown's a
self-esteem.
great man.
Here comes more therapy.
What's the female character's name who's stereotyped and like
Lucy.
Or Peppermint Patty or
Definitely
Marcy.
Lucy. Like she's like, the stereotypical know-it-all.
Yes.
Yes, that's
She
the
is.
one.
The psychiatric booth. Yeah.
That 100%
Exactly.
love her.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh,
5 cents.
I don't know.
Pig pen?
You're not like a Peanuts fan?
No, I vote Snoopy.
I'm just listening to other people. I'm
Okay.
just sort of.
Charlie Brown gets tricked too often by
He
Lucy.
gets tricked by her.
How about,
That's why I
Oh,
like
the
Lucy.
football thing.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
how about the teacher?
Everything.
Wah, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
there you go. Very nice.
What about like a Linus? I mean, I'm surprised no one went for Linus.
Oh, Linus.
I would have said
Security blanket.
How about Peppermint Patty?
Peppermint
Yeah.
Patty. What's
She's
up,
pretty
Chuck?
feisty.
What's up, Chuck?
See, I always like Linus because he was always like the everyman, always hopeful.
Yes. Yes.
You know, waiting for the great pumpkin, always optimistic, pie in the sky.
Yep.
Sally.
Wanted real estate, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I want is
All I
what's
want is
coming to me.
coming to
All
me.
I want is my fair
My
share.
fair share. That's all I want. If my list is indecipherable, just send
Snoopy.
tens and
Oh,
twenties.
okay.
Snoopy's a disruptor.
Yeah, he is. He is a
Always
disruptor.
disrupting. And then he just goes and chills on his doghouse and
How does he
relaxes.
balance?
and
How does he balance on that thing?
Very carefully.
Very, very.
He's a
careful.
dog. You know.
And he won the Christmas decoration competition.
That's right.
True.
That's exactly right.
Our dog is not unlike
Snoopy.
In what sense?
arrogant.
Disruptive?
Does
Oh, he's pretty
whatever the
arrogant.
heck he
He's
wants.
pretty disruptive.
Yeah.
Is he a
Yeah.
disruptor?
Disruptive.
Oh, he's a disruptor.
I was waiting. Yeah, he can cook. Oh,
This is perhaps my semi-annual chance to remind everybody to go look up the very first published Peanuts cartoon because it is my absolute favorite. The actual strip was Charlie Brown walking by in the background and two kids in the front going, "Good old Charlie Brown, good old Charlie Brown, good old." How I hate him. That's the very first. I mean, that was the '60s right there in a nutshell. That's all I have to say.
Terrible.
Isn't that? Everything's out of
awful.
focus in that cartoon. Look, we have a couple minutes left, so I'm going for another one of the
What?
imponderables. Perhaps
Oh.
something a little more food adjacent.
what like favorite Marmaduke character or something like that?
No.
Oh.
How about favorite donuts?
Oh,
Donut.
Watch everybody start talking about this one. I'm doing old fashioned, but I'm never going to get them sour cream style the way I got them from Dutch Girl. They're never going to be able to get them again.
It's a good choice. There's a donut place in Dearborn that sells donuts called Yum Yums. They are like fried Danish. They are mind-blowingly good.
Gosh,
Yeah. Next time I'm in Dearborn, I'll bring some.
there we go.
okay, done.
Yum yums.
I have to say a Krispy Kreme regular glaze.
Okay,
That's just
Nice and
just
warm,
hard
right?
To top. Yep, nice and warm.
I'm just going to go blueberry punchki from Hamtramck.
nice.
Punches.
Nice.
If punchkis count, we're in
Just
different
putting it, I'm
territory.
just putting it out there.
With a shot of vodka. Chase
There
it.
we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Blueberry
Punchki
vodka, too.
flavored vodka. Yes,
Lord.
with a beer shot afterwards. Yeah, there we go.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
I know, right?
How heathenesque.
All right.
I'm with you. I do the glazed from the same place.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just never going to see him again.
Nope.
Heather.
I like simple glazed
Join
donuts.
us.
But my grandmother used to make plain homemade ones.
Oh,
That's
my mom
nice.
used to make
Can
those.
you
They were
remember
amazing.
With the basket, and she'd pull them out. And I've never had another.
And she'd shake them in a bag with the like sugar and
Yeah.
the cinnamon, and they're
Even-
warm.
But even plain,
And
plain
they were the
was-
best.
It sounds like a drum.
Yeah, my mom used to make
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
I like them plain, warm with a little peanut butter.
Oh,
For some reason, peanut butter. is
Peanut
great
butter?
With a plain, yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from Dave yet? I don't think we have.
No, see, my dad had a donut shop in Canada, so I grew up around one. So I'm just trying to think what maple glaze.
Yeah,
Maple-
those are
Maple glaze are
good.
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 True to your brand. What can I say?
I still remember my dad's like, "Do you know how many dozens of donuts you can get from a pound of flour, and how many cups of coffee you can get with like a pound?" I mean, it's a huge moneymaker, absolute moneymaker.
Donuts are.
Donuts
I
and
have to
coffee.
remember that.
That's why we have Tim Hortons on every street corner, open 24/7.
That is true.
Cheap to make,
That's true.
expensive to sell.
Yep. It was a very, very cute video I saw on the internet this week that was Canadian person stereotype meets Southern American person stereotype.
Oh.
And they kind of fired back and forth to each other with things that are common to their culture until the Canadian lays down the poutine card. And the Southern person's like, frankly, I don't know why we didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. At least I'm thankful you didn't mention the bags of milk. That's all.
Well,
Anything that unhealthy should come from the
Plain
greasy South.
Laying
was
down
really
the
cute.
poutine card.
the poutine card. It was like they were playing Uno and they kept sort of one-upping each other, you know. So, yeah, but bags of milk, of course,
of
were
milk.
mentioned.
Aero bars.
You know, yeah, exactly. Pizza.
Ooh, coffee crisp.
All coffee.
Coffee crisp.
Oh my God.
They have those at Holiday Market, though.
What?
They do. We're on the back aisle.
Dan's eyes just got very
You mean
wide.
I don't have to wait till I go over the border?
I'll pick some up for you next time I go over there.
The last time I went over the border, the first thing I did was stop at the first exit. I went to the gas station and got a coffee crisp.
Wow.
Nice.
Serious.
Professors,
We gotta get butter tarts next time. Oh.
Professors.
I'm so sorry to report that we are out of time, but we are definitely having fun. So the time has come to say goodbye, Mara,
Goodbye.
Dave,
See ya.
Jocelyn,
See you later.
Jim,
Goodbye.
Dan,
Goodbye.
Stephen,
Goodbye.
and Heather.
Bye-bye.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy.
You can email Ask the Professor at atp@udmercy.edu or visit the Ask the Professor Facebook page.
Ask the Professor is produced and directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Mayo.